Hello and welcome once again to Cull the Week, the show where I, Brobnar89, decide whether I will keep my newest Keyforge deck or if I will sell it on decks of Keyforge. The magic number is 2 out of every 12 decks I get to keep, so let's see what kind of action we have today. My deck today is Jennilyn, Dynamic Beach Jeweler. This is a Brobnar Mars Untamed deck. Interesting house combination. Let's see what's going on. Starting with Brobnar. Bit of an unusual Brobnar lineup we have here. Only 3 creatures. With 2 Gauntlets of Command, I would really hope to have more creatures, especially in Brobnar. The actions look like they largely want to control the board. Loot the Bodies and Coward's End could have a big Amber burst. Unguarded Camp is always good for Amber control, but again, with the low number of creatures in this deck, I don't think it's going to be that viable. Looking over at Mars, we've got more fighting creatures here than in Brobnar. We've got a Gorman, so Gorman could definitely synergize well with the Gauntlet of Command. Feeding Pit is not going to be super useful with the low number of creatures. You could see yourself discarding a Chota that way if it's just not going to be viable. Double Combat Pheromones could also help make the Gorman viable. John Smith also gives the Gorman a bit more viability. Double Jammer Pack. That's good. This deck doesn't seem to have a whole lot of Amber control, so the Double Jammer Pack is going to be really crucial for keeping your opponent off of their key. Going to be hard to find creatures to carry the Jammer Pack. Untamed is interesting. We've got a Hunting Witch and 2 key cheats. With a double key cheat, I wish there was something else to give you a little bit more of Amber Gen, maybe like Fertility Chant would be great. Nature's Call would be really nice so that you could cycle your creatures that you do have, get some more value out of that Hunting Witch. Word of Returning is going to help out making those key cheats viable if you're playing against dinos for sure. You could also see a really nice line on Word of Returning and then save the pack. With the Regrowth also, that definitely helps make the key cheats viable. You know, you can bring back the Hunting Witch so that you can have enough Amber, or you can bring back the Chota and use it again. This deck definitely seems to have some interesting lines on it. I think you are definitely going to want to try to rush and play to your key cheats through Untamed. Unfortunately, not a huge Amber Gen. I'm definitely excited about trying out the interesting house interplay between Mars and Brobnar with the Gormand, and I always like key cheating. That's always fun. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll see you back for the 3rd game. Alright, let's do a quick review of the first 2 games, and then we'll jump into the 3rd game. Untamed was pretty good. Definitely able to get the key cheats off a fair number of times. The Gormand fighting off of Brobnar abilities was a little bit tough to get set up. I thought it would be a little bit easier with so many fighting abilities in Brobnar, but it just didn't roll out properly for me, which makes me think that this deck depends a lot on the order of the rollout. I probably should have tried discarding the Gormand when I didn't have it set up. We'll see what I do in the 3rd game if I discard it or keep it, but I think in order to keep it, you have to have a decent number of things already in play, such as both your Gauntlets of Command, or you have a Chieftain or Anger in hand, or you've got Soft Landing in hand so you can have it fight right away. And of course your opponent needs to have a board with some beefy guys up there in order to make it worthwhile. Most of the time you just discard the Gormand, but I was really hoping to find a way to make it work. Brobnar really lacked in creatures. It just needed more creatures in there. It's not enough, and there's too many actions that need like a specific situation to be effective. So it just didn't flow super well. We're going to go ahead and hop into the third game and see how I do. Here I am, ready for the third and final game. Let's see if Jennilyn, Dynamic Beach Jeweler, is going to be worth keeping, or if I will call the week. Got the first turn here. A not so great combination of cards in this opening hand. Do I want to keep it and play Unguarded Camp for nothing on the opening turn? Or do I want to mulligan? If I keep it, I'm also ditching Save the Pack for nothing here. I think I mulligan this. This is just kind of garbage. Okay, this is alright. I can start with the Screech Bomb, that's fine. Take a quick look at my opponent's deck list before we get too much further along here. Should have done that in the first place. Siaka is playing a Worlds Collide deck. Brobnar, Saurian, and Untamed. Lots of more wolves in this deck, so he could have a really big turn of generating a bunch of amber. No key cheat in Untamed, so that's good, but I don't know how much it matters in this case, seeing as how I have very minimal amber control. He does have a Pompatus in Saurian, so he's going to be able to have some really big dino creatures once they get amber on them. Probably he wants to tribute onto his Pompatus so that he can just make some ginormous dudes. Senator Shrix is going to be really difficult for me to take care of, especially if he gets it down next to the Paraguardian. Dilophosaurus I'm going to need to look out for. His Brobnar looks like it just has some of that board control going on. They've got a couple of fighting abilities and some stunning as well. I don't see a ton of amber control in here, so that's good. That matches my minimal amber control. Alright, for his first turn, looks like Siaka put down a couple of big Brobnar dudes, made them even bigger with the brew there. And back to me. So I think the obvious move here is to go Untamed. Get the wolf down. Grasping Vines for an amber. And Regrowth for an amber. Not ideal starting off, but sometimes you just gotta go with what you get. Okay, so he's gone dinos, he's put the Shrix down, warded behind the Legionary. That's going to be really difficult to take care of. I want to try to get rid of it sooner rather than later. And he's got the Questor also behind the Legionary. It may just be worth it here to go Brobnar and have the Ogre fight the Legionary. Of course, I've got the Anger, so I could actually use the Bear instead of the Ogre. That's probably better. So I think that's the right call. Down the Ogre. Anger. Bear's gonna fight there. And that'll be it. He still hasn't gotten up to 2 amber, so I can't use my Screech Bomb yet. Well, I could, but I won't. It's looking like I'm gonna have to do kind of a throwaway Mars turn on my next turn. He is playing down the Barn Raising. We'll see if he does a lot of fighting here. He's stunned my Rogue Ogre. And he's putting down a few more of those Brobnar creatures. What's he gonna do? Is he gonna fight my Rogue Ogre? If he fights it with the Mog Hunter, he's gotta damage his own creature. He's reaping with the Mog Hunter and reaping with Ogopogo. So he's up to 3, so I can use my Screech Bomb. Yeah, I still think that the Mars kind of throwaway turn is the best here. I mean, I could stun with Brobnar and then loot the bodies out of hand and unstun here. I think I'm better off hoping that I draw Coward's End soon and keep holding on to that loot the bodies for now. And just kind of moving through a few more cards by going Mars. And put this onto the Rogue Ogre, because that just makes sense. Oh look, I drew the Coward's End. That's very lucky. Alright, he's going for Obnar again. Hopefully he fights my stuff down. Yep, there he goes. Was able to take care of my Zookeeper with the damage off of the Mog Hunter's fight ability. I still think that Brobnar is my best bet. I can stun the two. Strix will stay because of the ward, and the Mog Hunter will stay because of the damage. But I can stun those with Tremor, and then get 4 Amber off of the Loot the Bodies. That seems well worth 3 chains, and a lot better than any of the other options I have right now. So Loot the Bodies first, Coward's End. Gotta click through all this here. And then stun his remaining 2 creatures. Not too bad. Gets me up to 8 Amber total. Putting me into check before he gets there. And here comes some of the Moorwolves. He's gonna get a big Amber Gen off this turn, and there's not gonna be too much I can do about it. Oh, nope, not quite. Not quite enough to get him into check. Alright, is it worth 1 more chain to kill this 1 stunned creature? Probably not. So, Untamed is my obvious choice here. And I just get the 1 Amber and put down the creatures. That's pretty much all I can do. Man, the draws this game are just not super great. I am ahead. Oh, he got his key. How did that happen? Oh, he had one on Strix. I forgot that he had one on Strix. Wouldn't have mattered. Couldn't have stopped him anyways. Nothing I could have done there to have stopped him. Pose Pixies is down. I don't think that matters. I don't have any stealing here, I don't think. I'm more worried about these Moorwolves, because he's got a bunch more of them. He's got a bunch more Moorwolves, and he's gonna be able to get some massive generation off that. Does he have more now? Is he gonna play another one and then... No, he doesn't. Okay, so he's up to 4. So Mars is the choice for sure. Probably gonna pick off one of those wolves. Yeah, that's what makes sense. I could damage the Shrix, but I'm more worried about the wolves at this point, since he doesn't have a lot of other Saurians out yet. And then just play this stuff out. Hope for the best. This guy's not going to be on the board for very long. Okay, I got the Word of Returning. That's nice. That might be worth actually just hanging on to for a couple turns. Oh, well, unless he puts a ton of Ember onto his guy. Okay, so I'm actually in a bit of a predicament here. I can let him forge for 8 and play down the Brobnar, or play some Mars? No. Play out the other two untamed cards that I have. Or I wait a turn for him to load up all these dudes with a bunch of Amber, and then I play Word of Returning. It's a tough call. It seems almost inevitable that he's gonna go Untamed, or go Saurian next turn, right? Like, he's got this massive board. He just wants to reap a bunch, get some more amber on this guy so that everything's really powerful. If I were to returning now, this won't die because of the ward, and he won't be able to forge. If I let him have another turn, he's probably going to put amber on almost all of these guys, and then I'll just be able to cash in for a huge amount. My concern is just that I don't have a ton of other amber control, so even if he just reaps, you know, 4 times fighting with this guy, and then he gets an extra one off of this, like, he's got almost enough to forge again. So I think keeping him from forging now and putting myself in the check is probably the best move here. He also knows I have Word of Returning, so he might be a little bit cautious about playing everything out. So I think I go ahead and I play it. And we'll see what happens next. I pulled Chota. Okay. He's not going to be super helpful right now. He's going dinos again. Capturing my amber onto his Shrix. Good move. He's probably going to fight this down. Fight down the Marauder there so that he can pay less for his keys. Oh man, this is going to be tough. Even if he lets me forge next turn, I'm just in a really sticky situation. He let my Marauder live. That's very interesting. Okay. Alright. He's got a ton of amber. I think my only option here is to go Brobnar. I can fight the Legionary with the bear through the effect off the Chieftain, and that leaves the Shrix exposed, so that maybe next turn I'll be able to take care of it. Choose Brobnar here. Put these artifacts down. Not going to be too helpful at this point. We'll see if they matter at all. Do I want to use my combat pheromones now? I could do it to ping the Questor. I think that makes sense actually. Use them to ping the Questor so that then I can through the mothership or mother gun, and then I can kill it off with Save the Pack, and possibly might have some path to being able to forge with the Chota. Although with how many untamed cards are left in my draw pile here, I don't see it happening, but we'll see. Give it a shot. Ping and reap for 1. Oh yeah, this is gonna be tough. This is gonna be real tough. I've got one more turn. I basically have to forge with Chota, right? And I just don't. I don't know how this is gonna happen. Highly skeptical of my chances here. Let's see if he decides to give me a bunch of amber. Not holding my breath. If he puts a ton of amber onto Shrix and then get some damage on it by fighting the Marauder. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. He's going Brobnar. Interesting. Putting down the Shattered Throne. Stunning my creatures. That's gonna make my path to victory even narrower. He's gonna kill off one of my... Oh yeah, okay, so he made his keys cheaper and he's gonna destroy one of my artifacts. Unless he's destroying his own, just for the Amber Gem. He got rid of my Gauntlet. Makes sense. So he does have a damaged Rustnar now with an Amber on it, so that could get me 1. I can get 2, well that doesn't, that didn't gain me any, right? He just captured it. And so that's the Amber I already had. So I can get 2 Amber, which is not enough for me to be able to forge with the Chota. Mars leaves me with no paths to victory. And so does Brobnar. So that's the game. Good game. And concede. Well, an interesting deck. Gromond did not even come into play that time. You know, like I said, the draw is just... It seems like a deck that is super highly dependent on the draw order, and it just... I don't know, it's too clunky. A little bit of back and forth with Siaka there. But yeah, this deck has a lot of neat and interesting tricks that it can do, but it's just really not very consistent. Like, all the house interplay off Gromond is neat and has some potential, but it's just so reliant on the rollout without any sort of archiving ability. I always love to see Loot the Bodies and Coward's End together. Just huge potential, but again, without any way to archive anything, it's so situational that it doesn't make for a solid, consistent deck that reliably performs. Too few Brobnar creatures, not enough burst in Untamed. Mars was okay, but nothing to write home about. And overall, the deck just lacks Amber control. It has a few neat hat tricks to get a big burst of Amber, but it's just not very reliable. So I think I am going to Cull the week and put this one up on Decks of Keyforge. Thank you once again to Siaka for the excellent game. Thank you all for watching. I've been Brobnar89, and this has been Cull the week.